Hey guys, what's up? Joe. Morning coffee, cheers. It's coffee, I swear, it's coffee. Don't bug me. Shit. I decided to create a bunch of videos in one shot, so I was like, fuck it. I have like a bunch of videos already backed up so I can like get them uploaded and not worry about it later. My time is kind of limited, so I try to like, when the girlfriend's not here and I'm not working for Pod doing some videos, I'm trying to like make my own videos and stuff like that, so fuck it. So the point of this fucking video. I made videos in the past before saying why I kind of like gave up. No, I didn't give up. It's just like, my interest in becoming a VFX artist and all the good stuff has changed, pretty much because now since I'm working for someone like Paul, that style of editing work is not necessarily in high demand working his stuff. Every now and then I do add some VFX stuff, whatever I know, just for fun. But for the most part, what's important like working for him is basically knowing how to edit fast, get it done quick, in a manner that's pretty much pleasing to the eye, adding music, adjusting audio levels, the color correction. There's a lot that goes into his videos, right? So I'm learning camera work and lighting and all that good stuff. So there's a lot I'm learning now in regards to making good videos, right? So I have a link in the post, but pretty much I have a buddy that, I need to get in contact with. His name is TK Gorgonia. And pretty much this guy here, he's a motion capture artist, right? He works with a team of people, wearing like the dot suits and all that good stuff. And like he does like the motion capture stuff. Yeah, and he actually reached out to me before and he asked me if I'm interested in learning this kind of stuff, then I should like look into Unreal Engine. From my experience learning a software, it could take up to 2 years to fully be well understandable how a software works. You could probably learn a software in less time if you really commit to yourself to it, but learning a new software can take a lot of time in the sense of practicing, making mistakes, learning how to correct your mistakes and all the good stuff, right? All right, so the point of me making this video is this. I feel if you are interested in being a VFX artist and other stuff, I think it's important to like start to understand how real-time rendering works, right? Especially something like Unreal Engine. I was interested that pretty much Unreal Engine was pretty much used in like one of like the Disney movies, for the Star Wars franchise. They actually used the Unreal Engine to render out like scenes, right? Something that I've been like seeing a lot also is pretty much Unreal Engine has been used for giving the director a visual representation of what's going on in the sense like highlighting and all the good stuff. So that way like they can see real time how a scene is gonna look like. So like if people like they want to have like they want to create like the final product, they already know how to set the lights and all the good stuff, right? So it kind of helps them at the same time. That way they can create the scene before they render it out, right? So they can do all the cool stuff. I messed with this product before, the Unreal Engine, and I do like it. It is really cool. Just like I said, I do not have the time to like mess with it, right? But in my personal opinion, I feel like this is something you're going to start seeing more. It's just people are using more real-time rendering, right? For visual effects.
We like to try and relate virtual production to traditional production. So virtual pre-production is previs and some of the tech viz and running up to the shoot. Then there's virtual production, which is simulcam and potentially some more tech viz. And then there's virtual post-production, which is post-viz. So taking the previs and compositing it onto the plates. Game engines, which have recently become a very big part of virtual production, they've really upped the quality of the render we're able to achieve. They've also allowed us to more accurately simulate the real world in terms of lighting.
Just in the last year and a half, the aesthetic of this stuff has just been cranked up and how much more we can do in real time.
Unreal is allowing us to compress the different divisions of viz, so that it's not so much a pre-viz and a during viz or a post-viz. It's kind of just, you can do it all at the same time.
All right, so like when like I was working with Paul and like he started to like talk to me about like new graphics cards coming out from like NVIDIA with like the RTX technology, the ray tracing, and like the shadows and other good stuff like that. Like the first thing that popped in my head was like, oh wow, that's really cool, because like from my perspective, like I said, like being interested in like the whole VFX side of thing, like I think that's really cool that like something that ray tracing, so you can have like more accurate like reflections and shadows and other good stuff. Like it's kind of cool seeing the technology kind of like aiming towards that direction, in a sense where you have more of a, you can create more of a virtual reality world. So like it's something that you can do like more like game engine stuff where you want to film in real time, and you have like the real time like shadows and reflections happening. Production wise, I think a lot of studios are gonna start aiming for that, and they have, right? Filming something, then send it up to the editors, then remove the green screen and do all that shit. Pretty much now they're trying to figure out a way where like you can have the actor in front of the green screen, and pretty much now like with the motion tracking, they pretty much have like they already removed the green screen in real time, have like the background, like, you know, add whatever the fuck they want, and pretty much just like render that part out. So there's plenty of videos where like I've seen where like they just do that, and I just think it's awesome. You know, they have like the tracking and all the good stuff, and all this stuff is in real time. They can add the background, right? So instead of like doing like everything in post, they can just like render it in real time, and pretty much, you know, boom, it's done, ready to be edited.
Virtual production is reshaping the way content is being created now. We're used to green screen effects and VFX, but that required post-production. Most of the customers still don't believe that they can create finished content in real time using green screen, which is undistinguishable from an external shooting. Virtual production allows us to get rid of that known sentence, we'll fix it in post. At the moment, we have everything fixed before post-production. So the framing is correct, the tracking camera is correct, the movements are correct, the lighting is correct. So what we have in post-production is the final trick, the value added, and not just the tweaking or the adjustments that were required to make the shot available.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool how things are going, you know. So this is something that was like the reason why I got into Unreal Engine. I was trying to like learn it because of this, you know, specifically, right? I really wanted to get more into like the real-time rendering because I feel like that's pretty much where things are heading. So there's a video pretty much from like Digital Domain. Pretty much like they use like real-time motion capture and as well as real-time rendering for like creating like Thanos, right? There's a part of the video that kind of got my interest in regards to like a real-time rendering, you know, using like something like Unreal Engine.
For the past few years, I've been hearing a lot of horror stories about visual effects houses taking on increased workloads for maybe smaller commissions from big studios and stuff. Do you guys think that there are any solutions to that problem?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you're in a place where visual effects allows us to tell bigger stories than we've been able to tell before, and so as a result, you know, we're getting more and more shots, and, you know, trying to figure out the best way to deal with that, you know. So it's, you know, we're at a point where I think there's some things that need to be worked on, but I don't know if we've really solved it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a competitive industry. It's a business. Both ends, both for what we do, like as a visual effects studio and other visual effects studios, but it's also obviously a business for Disney, for Marvel. So everyone's trying, you know, their best to do their best at that business. And it's also incumbent on ourselves to make ourselves as competitive as possible too, by being more efficient and, you know, faster. So it's sort of the way it is. Yeah.
Fast is key, you know, that's just how it is, you know. So learning something like real-time rendering could be a very massive benefit for you if this is what you want to do. Your time is valuable, so you got to get shit done as fast as possible. There's just no other way around it. So technology is happening now where, like, you know, you have the technology to get things done faster, right? You know, technology is also cool with like the whole screen capture, like motion tracking and all this stuff, right? Another thing that I guess like that I learned from watching these kinds of videos is like they want to like pretty much have the director see a screen so you can have more of a visual representation of how the final product is going to look like, right? And the only way they can do that is basically, instead of having guesswork, they have like literally a monitor to give them like maybe not like the final product, but pretty much a good representation of what's going on in real-time rendering, right? So here's another video clip I want to show about that.
Here you can see what Brolin looked like through monitors on the set, complete with a visible helmet cam and a low-resolution version of Thanos' face. Digital Domain used video game rendering to create a high-end look of the character that's much closer to the final version.
So, anyways, yeah, like I guess I'm gonna end the video here. It's pretty much like as you can see in like if major studios say like the Avengers, they use Unreal Engine, like not necessarily to maybe get like the final product of the of what you see on the movies, right? But pretty much it helped massively to get like good visual representation of what's going on in real time, right? That way the actors know what they're looking at. The director would be like, oh, adjust the fucking lights here and there and all that stuff. So I just thought it was kind of really cool and interesting to learn this kind of stuff, right? Like how something like a video game engine is being used now in the movie industry and all that stuff, right? So if I wasn't busy as I am now, working with who I am now, then I think this is something I'd probably be more consistent on working towards, learning more about like the VFX side of things and with using something like a real Unreal Engine, right? Maybe not specifically that engine. I mean, there's more options, right? But as you can see how it's being used, I'll put the links in the descriptions, right? But like this is really cool, you know, that like they use a fucking video game engine. And like I guess so to end the video here, pretty much like there was like a video going around how like some used weather station, like they actually use Unreal Engine to like give you like a real time like visual representation of like how water rises can affect a person, like how tall it is, you know, to give you a visual idea how bad it is and all that good stuff, right? So that's really cool, you know, like again, as they're doing this, the guys are standing in front of a green screen and like, oh, this is happening in the background in real time with like the Unreal Engine. So, you know, instead of them editing this crap later down the line, they just film it on the spot and there you go. That's what you see, right? Yeah, of course, it doesn't look as good as a Marvel, but you know, it's just like a fact they're doing this in real time. It's just, I think it's awesome. So I say if you're into VFX and you want to get to the movie industry and all that good stuff and you want to have that edge, I mean, obviously learn how to edit and use After Effects or Nuke or I don't know. There's other softwares that, you know, are good with all this, like Houdini and all this shit. But definitely learning real-time rendering, I think, is a massive plus, right? And I definitely would have liked to continue this kind of stuff now if I had the time. But, you know, I had to stop myself because I just, you know, I couldn't keep up with it, really, to be honest. Because, you know, for time reasons, you know. But anyways, yeah, if you're interested in VFX, look into Unreal Engine. I think it'll give you a massive benefit, skill-wise, and also in the industry-wise to learn this shit, right? So, all right, that's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. Take care and peace.